You have so much information because you're objective and your visions are not clear.
Every story boils down to one or two or three generalizable truths.
The goal of design is to learn.
So, okay, I had a question regarding workflows only. So there's three buckets. There's AI tools that you ask them and they'll do the job for you. They are like just whatever A to B, they'll give you A to B. Then you have AI automations. You run, like you program and then they'll run on their own. Like you've said that I want A to C and every Monday I want A to C product and they will like this is what I want the output. They'll do that for you. Then there's AI, agentic AI, which also proactively contributes into your automation and whatever work you are doing in your workflow. So it actively asks you for feedback and then incorporates it and then gives you again. So like how do we integrate all these three buckets in a workflow? Like if you have a workflow that has it integrated, how does it look like? Could you give an insight on that?
Oh, yeah, I think I felt the same way. I think a lot of people, like I was very curious around, I think 5 months back. Because someone said that in the Meta office SR, people have not even touched Figma, they're just designing in AI. And I was like, what? And then I spoke to someone in the SR team who was meeting the AI team there, and they were like, bro, no. We use Origami as a tool, as an internal product design tool at Meta. It just has all the libraries, so it just pulls in the right thing, but it's not AI designs. Now, I think we have all the things that we have, but I think right now I heard some people saying that they design in cursor,
Yeah.
but I don't think they are mostly 0 to 1 folks. I think the people who already have either established systems or they're just tuning an idea. But I don't think right now the kind of customization that a mind can think, like, what's the thing about it, right? Every output or how you, okay, think about communication of how different things end up happening. Imagine you have to send someone a text. You have a thought, but now the thought has to be converted into physical effort or tapping on a small device to type it. There's loss of information that happens in that. Typing is an aggressive way of communication. Then you have voice. I have to think and I have to say. Again, loss of conversion, because it's just like there's no such a lossless conversion. The next phase of this is, what if I could just think and it could be communicated? That's what Neuralink is.
Yeah.
Thoughts get directly converted into things. That's the best lossless conversion right now. Now, when a designer says, I'm going to do something directly in terms of an idea, we would have done it in paper a couple of years back, but now the most natural way of doing that change is Figma. When you attach your auto layout and all of that shit, it becomes a little harder because now you're going to treat initial element because it has so many constraints. Like, I personally hate that.
Yeah.
Again, maybe because I'm a previous generation of designer, like auto layout came around the end of my like hands-on phase. Now I have like more other things to like handle upon creation, but it felt like friction to me. I think anything that feels like friction will always pull me back from doing a lossless conversion of my idea of change. It was
Yeah.
So when people say I can design in cursor, I'm like, you might be able to move things around. But then you're not doing justice to the thought, you're doing justice to what the tool can do at that point. It just close to your idea. That I don't think is a very fluid way to design something 0 to 1. It could work saying that, oh, I have made this naked, responsive, make it add more scales, make another component. But when we're talking, okay, I want this component to do these 7 things, what can I do? Can I move it here? Can I move it? Like, that only happens on Figma, only without auto layout, all of those things. It could have taken me more time on a paper because I had to draw the frame every single step to take some change. I think for me, the most frictionless space to do that right now is a blank canvas on Figma. I love that without any of the variable auto layout ship. But yeah, so if you're thinking, is there a way I can get all these 3 different buckets of AI to work for me right now to create something that is valuable as a design? Not really. Though on Twitter, you'll see a lot of people saying that, oh, I have an N8 flow that you can create UGC content by just putting this template. It goes. It can do it, yes. Is it going to be something that if you had complete control on in terms of, let's say, this was just one ad that represents you if you die tomorrow, at the last thing you created, would you put that out? I'm not sure. So I think one thing that sometimes at this point in time, people who are not very creative will kind of negotiate for scale is quality. But if you're that, so my boss says, and I actually love this quote, he's like, you know, a mirror, right? Like a thing that you put your clothes in, a wardrobe. When a true artistic carpenter is making that, this guy's hammer the words together, polish it, shave it off, put the paint, let it overnight to and it's gonna make sure that every piece of it is smooth, there's no rough edges, it's gonna sharpen it or it before days after making that perfect. Now if we think of a wardrobe, it has 4 sides, but one side is always going to be stuck to the wall. You're never gonna see it.
Okay.
A person who is a bit fun, transactional, or let's say punctual in nature, they'll be like, who's gonna watch it? No one's gonna see this side, it's gonna be stuck to the wall. Why do I have to put any effort in it? But a true artist is still gonna treat that side that no one sees with the same amount of polish and care and love that they would do with the other side. Because for him, it's like piece of art that they created. When you create design like that, I don't think you're gonna rely a lot on automation.
Yeah.
So you pick that, which piece of this requires that kind of attention, that is make it 0 to 1. Maybe I will make everything that I have to make fundamentally strong through that. But when I have to scale it to, let's say, 10,000 people all over the world, I will figure out how to automate all those parts. But I don't think I have to start from scratch at that. I think it will require a lot of mind and thought into making something that is so scalable and then scale it through, so that same quality scales everywhere. I'll tell you something. Let's say you have to cure cancer.
Okay.
You haven't cured cancer and you're in the process of curing cancer. But even that has to be scaled across the world.
Yeah.
But when you're at that ground zero of making that cure, are you going to worry about making the perfect cure or making a scalable cure? The scalability of anything that happens only comes after you solve the P0 of it that it needs to work. There is no value, trust me. A cure for cancer, non-scalable, still has value as compared to something that's scalable but does not cure cancer. So the scalability angle would come after you have solved for the 0 to 1 P0 goal of it, is to then get the job done. And then you figure out how can you induce system into it.
Got it.
So you will never perceive the value of the solution itself.
Makes sense. I think that's why even when I'm talking about design processes, we first cater to a person and then think, okay, how it's going to be scaled.
Solve for one person so well that guy goes like lava.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay, now I'm going to do it for everyone. But if you start by, I want to do this for everyone, but you don't even get to solve, it does not.
But it doesn't work, yeah. Makes sense, definitely. I'm thinking. I think when you're also talking about scalability in terms of teams, when you're working in a smaller group, there is no, again, similar to what Maanya was saying, there's lack of system, right? So when you're scaling a team, how do you ensure the vision of what you started with is gone across? And quality control. So there's also quality control. So maybe there's not 100% creativity, but there's a bit of system in place. There's a creativity also needs to flow, but again, efficiency is a little compromised again. So what is your thought on that, team building or scaling a team?
I don't think this is a one-fit-all answer. I think there are people who are great at 0 to 1, in terms of creating something and then making it work. Then there are people who are 1 to 10, which would let's say scale the company to up to 3 years to 7 years of scale, and then there are 10 to 100, which will take it for the next legacy generation, right? I think I belong to the 0 to 1, right? I think I have a very short kind of attention and enjoyment span, and then I get bored and then I want to do something different. I don't have a long attachment to anything that way. When I have to build a team, and this is something I'm doing, I'm learning a lot in that process, is people are complicated. What we think, what we feel, what we say, what we do are all different things. None of them match with what they initially thought of, right? I think in order to build something from 0 to 1, what you need is people insane amount of passion to create something, a lot of hunger to build. It is not a place for I need work-life balance and all that. Like, it's not for them. Like, people who have that need in life and that phase of life should go to Google, Microsoft, where people are just chilling and, like, cut Riya, chaate hain, lunch karte hain, aap aa gaya रहते हैं, कुछ नहीं. 0 to 1 is not a space for people who want something different in life at that point in time. I think it requires a lot of sacrifice in terms of, like, you need to believe in the fact that I'm making something bigger than me. It's 7 different people with a lot of intensity and hunger to create a big impact in the world. They're coming together to create something larger themselves, and that's where you have the whole army mindset. It's like, I might die, but that's okay, but I have to, like, make this thing happen. Like, that mindset is, imagine, like, why do you have those piping and drills? Like, why do they suck out? Why do uniforms exist? They suck out individuality from a person that believe, like, in this core of a strength that comes as a unit. They try to create a unit. Most of these people get rewarded very well when that works out. Like, when that startup gets a funding, does a good revenue, like, not Listen Labs. Level Labs, what? I had 1 or 2 years. They had a 3 billion team, what do you call it? Tender. That means everyone who was a part of that team is going to get a big chunk of that money. Like, there's someone I know who's an editor, 19-year-old, already about to be a millionaire because he was part of that Level Labs team. Because it took a lot of grit, it took a lot of thing out of them, but in a span of 2 years, they made money that most of us will not make in 20 years of working. Now, again, like, high risk, high reward, right? But it also comes with this beautiful experience. Like, I'm literally wearing my gym clothes in my office right now. My founder was sitting right here. I try to seem right there, like, I'm on a sofa chilling. This does not feel like work. It's like I'm doing a project with some really, really smart people, and we come in, it does not feel like work because it does not have the corporate bullshit of like, oh, pay a bit for that. Don't talk to tech. We just like here, like, we pass it on the sofa because it is about curing cancer. It is about like finding a spot for this one thing. That's the question. Companies get boring after 1 or 2 years when systems come in quick. That's where chaos goes away, and that's when it becomes not so much fun. I think that's what we have to, like, kind of. Sorry, my teammate was like, "What the fuck's happening there?" Yeah. No. Yeah. Always sorry your word. Yeah. I think at that point, very few DNAs can set into this and they can adapt to this. And people who are not in that space, who do not want that kind of hustle in that right now, they would just not fit off. You also need people who you don't have to teach. You need people who can be self-initiated and run by themselves. And that's why startups also are not a great place for people starting out, because it would require skill set. Like, if you're high, like, right now, I've learned from some of the best people out there. I've seen so much high standard design around me that I cannot settle for anything less. So if someone has to join my team, I have high standards in terms of the quality of 3D visuals, 2D visual animation, skills of illustration. Like, I'm like, below that, I cannot allow anyone to create because it does not represent what I've learned so far. So it requires all of that. But let's say if someone is a 1 to 10 scale, where, like, the brand is already known, everyone has already put in their money, which is working fine. It's fun. Like, let people come and we can help people learn now. They have the time, they have the mind space to actually get someone into that journey and be like, for the next 6 months, I'm just going to teach you things. You shadow me, you can do that because I have ample amount of fine funds and time to turn you into the next animal of a designer that I want here to be your universe. Startups don't have that. It's more like, we have 1 year to run, let's run as fast as we can. If we survive, we go insanely huge, and then we become the one to doing this. And I think then comes 10 to 100, which is for the most monotonous, boring jobs that you can have, or your Google, Microsoft, all of these guys, like, well, like, सब चल रहा है, चलता रहेगा. You have great HR policies, and they're holidays. There's all three meals from 5-star hotels in that place. Come enjoy, like, do one thing in 3 months, and you'll be still good. But again, high risk, high reward. Startup, high risk, insane reward. You might make generational wealth in one sprint. Beach wala thing, you're like, okay, I'm doing good. Life mein kaisa aa raha hai, sab kuch aa raha hai. Third one is like salary hai, but no one ever became rich with salary. So, you know, some ESOP wo chal rahe hain, kabhi milenge, but it's stagnant. In all these cases, the maximum amount of growth you have as a person, as a professional, as a teammate is startups. And the most stale life you have is in one of these biggest companies. So you just have to choose what you want in that life. Maybe when I have a kid and I'm like too like I just want to like work hard anymore, I don't like chill in life, I might go to the last one. But till I have that grit and the want to like really create something epic, I'm gonna stay at this one.
Right. Makes sense. It's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of beautiful UI and like efficient UX, like the things that we see on Dribble, very beautiful layouts and all of that, how do we see design as, like, how do we separate design as a craft and then see design as something that actually solves problem? Like, what do you do when there is tension between both the designs? Like something that's aesthetic and something that's functional. How do you marry them?
Yeah, I don't believe in that. Like, I think Steve Jobs में कभी ना कुछ गलती से बोल गया था कि design is not how it looks, how it works. And people have just checked out at everywhere without any context. Like, this guy, if he was so much about functional design, Apple would not have been the epitome of design.
Yeah.
Apple would have been this NVIDIA kind of backend chip that just works super cute but never showed up. Apple is not that. Apple is one of the best fucking product because this guy used to go to factories, touch the metal, and then be like, oh, this is the right metal. Like, we take as example in this random photo that people had, there's so many untalented designers who are kind of, you know, sneaked into this space of design by creating D2B SaaS product that look like crap and just calling it like, oh, it works. It's not about how it looked like. No. Like, दौड़ने की रेस में चलना आता है implicit. It should function. If it does not function, it is not design. Like, and it's as simple as that. Make beautiful designs. Don't make ugly designs. Like, it's something as simple as that. If you make something ugly, that just simply comes down to you don't have a good tape. And it is possible because in today's world, we have so many random non-creative folks getting into design because the design is an engineer. It has money. People know that, so they want to be a part of it. But they don't have the caliber, all the intent to get better at their visual design, so they would rather shake on it. Because it's like, या तो शायद मैं तो यहाँ पे दुनिया like that, like मुझ पे कुछ out here. So you really vision design is not that big. Like it's such a stupid perspective to have in life. And the problem is it is getting echoed so well because तुम घरों की पहुंच में लगा करके चलाएगा तो सब बोलेगा हाँ सही कर रहा है. It's like there's so many of these imposters in this school right now. Then when they say that, oh, vision design is, you know, the most dumbest thing that you'll see out there is, this is UI, this is not UX.
They're very integrated.
Every designer in the first 6 months of their design career thinks that is fun. Or that either way. When you like the most stupid people put it out there. Like, user does not look at anything like, oh, this has good visual but non-context. They're like, this is shit, as simple as that. उनके लिए ये bifurcation exist नहीं करता तो तुम hardly कैसे use कर सकता है. The biggest limitation of the designer is you have a great idea in mind but you have nowhere to put it on a paper. Like, you are, shame on you as a designer if you're in that space. If you can't put your idea in a way that I think my flatmates will say this, like, if you cannot charm someone in real life, you can never create an impactful design. The understanding of how to make a person feel something, or how can you make them, how can you like just pull them towards you just through what you create, it's a skill. It comes from a lot of layers of understanding human psychology, and beauty is a big part of it. Beauty in gesture, beauty in how things look, how you present things, like all of these are just different ways of grabbing some of the direction. If we don't have that in real life, we don't understand the concept of that in terms of how brain works and responds to that, those stimulus, you cannot bring them in a design either. So most of these engineering folks who come from a very functional way of life, which look at something empty and go like, this is minimum. Like, when those people come out in design, they look like, Yeah, it works, yes, but it looks sad as shit. No one wants to use it. Like, do you understand? Like, think about it. Let's say you went to get a green tea and they have a shopping mart. It has 70 different brands out there. You have to pick one. What is going to make your decision easier? Like, what are the value attributes that you're looking for?
The communication is clear in the branding. What
It's
is
not very functional. It's obviously like the way you look at it. It should like look like a proper green tea, I guess. That is one thing. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's a green tea, but why is it weird? Like, I don't know. It just looks funky. You know, it shouldn't look funky. It should have the vibe of a green tea for sure.
also like hierarchy of information, because when like
Oh,
random
You are
information.
saying it's too much like a design.
No, I actually judge a book by its cover. So like if like there's no visual hierarchy, you're just putting information in that.
What you just said, right? Judging a book by its cover. Now, people say that's unfair in the world, but that is the reality of the world. First impressions are the last impression, and forget this are mostly visual. Like, that's just how this world works, right? Now, in that space, imagine, because you cannot go and check 17 different flavors of green tea and different brands to figure out which one works the best. So what you do it, okay, are all of us. This one's visual hierarchy looks best. This one's packaging looks best. You just pick that one, right? And you taste it. Now, if things are in the best luck, you might get something that has good flavor, good taste, and good attributes as well. So substance, even though it is so important, it is something you cannot judge unless you actually label it.
Correct.
So the first flow of anything ends up being that visual. And I forgot what you were talking about because we have kind of like
I think it was the Steve Jobs line, right? It's not just about visual design, but I have an opinion about it.
And
I have-
action UX.
I have an opinion. So what I'm thinking is that first when company started, it was all about functionality. Oh, our product has to be this. Then came a little bit about communication that oh, logo needs to look good. But it's not just about the function or the looks of it, but it's also about the in a way you can say the back end, right? Like the service. How are you
Being relevant.
not being relevant. I'm talking about, let's talk about a coffee shop. So it's not just about the coffee that you're giving. It's not just about the cup that you're giving, but it's also the experience you're giving, how the staff is greeting you, how the space is. So it's not everything is seen, not everything is tangible. There are some things which are hidden and that you get it, you latch onto it. So I think that's what my interpretation of Steve Jobs' line is, that everything is not visual, it's not tangible. There are hidden things. Like that's the reason why I went on looking for everything material-wise, how everything fits in place, the experience of the product play. So that's just my understanding.
I think that's what an evolved mind would perceive it as. But sadly, that's not the case.
That's not the case,
Right. Like when I told you about the car experience,
Right.
we were creating an A to B experience. But how you open the door, what you speak, like all of this is a part of it. I think a lot of these quotes we have taken on face value and we're like thrown into the interviews and like that's the best. It does not work that way. Like, but there's another line called good design is invisible. Like, when in life have you ever worked being like, oh, I'm gonna work so hard at this कि मैं इतना मस्त काम करें किसी को दिखेगा नहीं कि मैंने क्या काम किया है. It just does not work that way, right? The whole world works in a way that you want to be seen. Like all of us innately want to be seen, like, and not in the same tangible aspect. But people who are introverts, they want their work to shine. People who are extroverts, they want them to be in front. Like people who look good, if they are extrovert, they will want the brightest clothes that done out there and be like, or they can like, it's just how the whole psychology works here, right? When we design for things, I don't design everything with the intent that it should be invisible. Like if I'm here, imagine I moved a country to create something epic. I don't want it to be invisible. I want people to be able to talk about it. I want it to be the biggest flagship ever is. Like I would never design at the intent of it being invisible. I want it to be great. I want it to be a very super smooth experience, but I want certain parts to be highlighted. Like there's a reason why when you make a payment on these apps, there's a confetti because these high points stay in your head. Like when you design something, you don't want to create another cloud in a sky full of clouds. You want to create like a what's that thing? Northern lights that people sit and look at pause and tell political about. They want to create something phenomenally beautiful, right? They want to take the visuals and I think a lot of these quotes we actually mean something completely different in the person said it and we have taken a lot of different administrate, but yeah, the design should be visible. It should shine through the covers.
I think like good design is invisible, the quote that you said. I so for example, scissors, it has been there since 17th century and the basic design has remained exactly the same. So like a good design is so intangible that we don't realize it's a good design until there's no alternative for it.
That's to look at it.
Yeah, that's my way of looking at it. So like your design should be like invisible in the sense that people don't realize the value of it until they don't have it and they're like, no, I need this only. This is the specific thing that I need.
Correct. For sure.
It's a very, very fair point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are just lost in translation or like interpretation.
Individual way of looking at things and perspectives.
And many people just, I think, wrong interpretation. There's nothing called wrong interpretation, but
Perspective.
yeah, it just gets more famous because again, herd mentality comes in, right? If people understand, they'll understand what you were talking about, invisible design, it not being like visual or whatever. That is what people understand. Hence, that spreads more wider than what the actual meaning is because most people won't understand it.
Agreed.
So, at least that's my...
That's the reason why humans have actually... I was reading that book, Sapiens, that said humans have succeeded in across so many generations is because we have this thing of herd mentality. Like if we have this vision, then we can have that way of storytelling that so many masses of people can believe in our idea. We can sell that idea and that's how we can get people on our side of the team and like, let's go do this, let's go do that.
That's
that is missing in other animal species. So that's how.
And a little politics also we are. Right,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we have been taught like father of the nation, all that. But all you realize is like they just had a good PR team back then that did such a great show.
Exactly.
You sort of right?
It creates timeless, what do we say, products. We are products in a way, but not the most effective ones, I guess. For sure. Yeah. I guess that's a good bit. Maybe, but any other thoughts, Atul, that you have? Would love to know.
Yeah, I think there's this one thing that I was told. So, there's this one person, I think he was part of the designer community back then. And I think this person has like a certain percentage of his body is paralyzed. And he mentioned that we talk a lot about how we have to be, we have been have this passion and grit for design and all of these things. But we don't talk about like balance in life. So I think I try to make sure that every time I end one of these talks, I always mention that part. Just as a thing, like remember, I think you guys must have you. Do you think you guys work hard at your assignments? Like, do you get a lot of them? What do you feel like?
It depends. Like, so for example, if how I go about it is if I see value in that project, like this faculty is really good and I enjoy working at this, or maybe I like the process of going about it, I give my all to it. And if I see that this is something that doesn't align with my interest, I give it as much as I can just for the credits.
Agreed. So even what is important is prioritize. If a college studio is not that great, I have dropped it. I'm like, no, I see no value, it's fine. Even though obviously logical thinking would be, oh, my fees is going, then I'm wasting money. Not really. Sometimes doing something else is
I think
you're gaining
clarity of what aligns with you and what doesn't align with you is important.
It's important.
That way you can prioritize your time more efficiently in areas that actually will give you 10 times the result than doing something that doesn't interest you.
Correct.
But I'm guessing like if you find something that makes sense, you give it a right.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
That's a given, I guess.
Bonus.
Yeah.
I think what will happen eventually is as you keep on finding more and more these things, like you'll give it a card, and then you'll get certain amount of like things out of it. Like it could be grades, it could be freelance, but it could be something, right? And then it does not make you obviously happy. And when this cycle keeps on happening again and again and again, eventually, when there comes a point where you start keeping this whole hustle and happiness directly correlated. it eventually becomes a space where you start believing that every time I work my ass off because I get it makes me happy. So cut short the equation, like hustle equal to happiness. And when this keeps on going, and it is required because the world that we are in, like it's a competition, right? You all are kind of fighting for the best that's out there, and sometimes people will be chosen between the two to get that. Now, there comes a point in life where you start realizing that I'm not hustling anymore, but I'm feeling okay. Like I'm still feeling happy. Like I'm not hustling, but the happiness is like this. And at that point, sometimes you can like, wait, is this what settling feels like? Is this what feels like I've kind of like reached my peak and this is where I'm supposed, like, have I settled down for what I could be? I think sometimes you need to like maybe zoom out and take a step back and be like, okay, maybe all of this was to reach here. And maybe this is not that deep, but this is that safe space that you were fighting so hard for the reach, where life does not require constant hustling struggle to reach there. Maybe this is a reward for everything that I have compoundedly put into this. Like I put stack in now and this at this create above the clock, it feels nice. So I think sometimes you need to like take a fresh breath and just take a chill pill and be like, maybe this is everything I worked hard for, and that's why I deserve it. And maybe that's why I just maybe need to. It's not saturation, it's not settling, it's just something as a reward of what all this hard work is meant to be. So make sure like this is not how you end your day. If this is something that you're watching as a podcast, make sure that you go out, chill, have fun with your friends, because life is multiple orbs that you're balancing throughout. You have work, you have love, you have friendships, you have family, and all of these you're juggling. But no matter how hard you try, something is gonna go wrong in one of those at one point in time. You need to have the other ops to feel good at that point in time. But if you put everything in just one, and inevitably it will go wrong at some point because that's just how life was designed. And if you have not nurtured the other orbs, you will be left feeling very hollow. You don't want to be in that situation. So work hard at what you do. Spend time with family. Love your partner, nurture that relationship, love your friends, do all of that. And make sure that whenever you're done with this, you go out and party and chill with some of them and just have enough guilt so that you start working hard at it.
I think I had that. Sunday I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Right. That's what life is all about, I guess.
Finding a
Balance, peace.
balance. Somehow balanced. Not always balanced.
A little bit of this and that as well always. But yeah, I guess truly great insights. An awesome conversation, I think. Went into many areas here and
That was totally unprecedented.
yeah. But that's how again life is.
Unprecedented.
Yeah, but had an awesome conversation. Thank you so much, Atul, for giving your time.
Thank you for protecting your time slot for us. Yes.